Archuleta. Mosted by Colin Zanker. And last, but certainly is least, Joseph Goodwin.
Welcome in, everyone, to the Undrafted, Uncensored, where we're going to do math today, and there's only two of us instead of three. Colin's a little under the weather, so it'll be me and Joe. We'll give you a nice quick show, and I mean, it could be worse. It could be 28 straight days of losing, but, we'll just give you one.
I thought you were going to go with, it could be worse. It could be just Joe.
No, Joe's not quite on the Detroit Pistons level of bad, so.
God, I hope not.
Yeah. Can you imagine 28 straight losses?
Dude, it's shameful. Like, I was going to kind of change the lose bad segment for this week and not do a football game and just talk about the Pistons, because it's just it's shameful. Like, it's that bad. And they have good players. Like, Cade Cunningham is a quality point guard. He's going to be good in this league. Bojan Bogdanovic is a solid wing. They've got, decent players, but, a lot of them are young. They don't really have that veteran presence. And Monty Williams is just kind of there. It doesn't feel like he's really doing much.
Well, I mean, he was a game show host at one point, so, he's probably falling back into that realm.
Yeah. Just, oh, man. Do you think they should get DeAndre Ayton so he can have someone to yell at?
At this point, they need something. And for those of you kids that are watching, look up Monty Williams game show host, and you'll understand the reference I made there. Those of you that don't understand that.
Oh, my guy Montel.
Oh, so let's dive into it. And I put it in the rundown. The Broncos now have a Tebow's chance in hell of winning the AFC West. I figured that was the most appropriate way of doing it.
It's not impossible, but it's not going to happen either.
No, not anymore, especially now that Russ has been benched.
That could give him more of a shot,
It could. I mean, they are playing the Chargers, and we all know what the Chargers are capable of on Sunday. They have a hockey stick playing quarterback.
They got my guy Stream Easton Stick.
Oh,
yeah, it's just sad because I was really excited. I was even talking to Colin at the station about like getting a quick segment together for the next couple of weeks about just other team watch or playoff watch or team we want to lose watch, something along those lines. Because it went perfectly for the Broncos. Like, Pittsburgh beat Cincinnati, so then the Broncos would have been tied with Pittsburgh and Cincinnati with a chance to go ahead of them next week. The Colts shit the bed against the shitty Falcons. Like, Kansas City, just if the Colts shit the bed, Kansas City like diarrhea and had to like get a new bed and set it on fire. Like, that's so bad, but I love it at the same time because I just like watching teams that I hate lose. But it feels so much worse when it means nothing. Like that. All the Broncos had to do was not fuck this up.
This was Moses parting the Red Sea. All you had to do was get from one end to the other. The sea was parted. You just had to walk through the dry land right there. And instead
they went directly left.
Yeah. And just like everything was set up because, you win that game, you're a game out of the AFC West Championship.
Yeah.
And
you're set up very well for the playoffs. Like, Pittsburgh plays Seattle next week. Cincinnati plays Kansas City next week. Now, Kansas City has been falling off. But, like, those are two teams that you could easily jump ahead of next week. The Colts, I don't know how the tiebreakers work, but every division win you gets you better tiebreakers. Like, you're not going to be able to get a tiebreaker on Houston, but they lost too. Like, you had a chance. It was right there.
I think, and I think what was worse about it for me was not that the Broncos lost. It was that they beat themselves. This was not a Belichick victory. This was a straight Broncos just not showing up and doing everything they can to throw it all away.
just it was. And like, I guess I get the mentality. I'm gonna check real quick what the yardage was on that fourth down when they just punted with a minute left, and there were 3 timeouts for sure.
Yeah,
Like, the defense was not playing well enough to put the game in their hands. I feel like you needed to control the ball. You needed to be able to control the clock, either run it out and kick a field goal or ensure overtime. Don't just, leave it up to fate, because that always goes so fucking well.
yeah.
Just it felt like not necessarily giving up, but just like, well, let's see how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah,
we don't really have any control over this. We might as well just, toss a
Yeah.
coin and see what happens. If I had a coin, that would have been better.
It was frustrating because, like I said, it wasn't even that this was Belichick outsmarting you, outplaying you, outcoaching you. This was the Broncos just not showing up. It was Christmas Eve and they were already on Boxing Day. And it was, I mean, they frustrated me a lot this year, I guess. I mean, I can't say that was the most frustrating, but it's like I said, when the Red Sea is parted for you and you have the opportunity to put yourself in a prime position to win your division, you weren't even blip on the radar week 6. You turned it around, and I don't know. I want to go back and watch the game again because I want to see how much of it is coaching and how much of it is the playing.
I mean, it was a combination of both. I mean, the play calls didn't look great, but they definitely were not being executed well either. Like I said, little things, and it was 4th and 13. That's what they would have had to go for because they had that negative yard pass on first down. But like, why are we calling passes behind the line of scrimmage when all you have to do is move the ball? Like, I'm okay with a screen pass to an extent, but I don't like it on first down. I don't like it to a receiver behind the line of scrimmage, or was it to P. Ryan? I think I actually said P. Ryan. Either way, at that point in the game, I was just on pins and needles, just losing my mind.
Yeah.
Especially because of the day I had in fantasy, which was insane. Just everything was driving me up a wall.
Yeah. Well, that was the nightcap game. So, my family, we'd gotten together, we had appetizers and dinner and open presents, and we're just, relaxing, watching the game. And it's 7-3 after a half. And I'm just like, what is this?
That's what I expected from these two teams because the Patriots are so defense-centric, and they move the ball decently, but not super well.
Yeah.
And the Broncos have no fucking idea. Their offense is just all over the place. Sometimes it works great, and sometimes it's completely anemic, and it feels like they're doing the same things and getting those ridiculous results. I expected it to be, like I said in the previous pod, like it's going to be uncomfortably close. Like this is it's going to be embarrassingly close, stressfully.
Sure, it was.
Yeah, it was because I didn't feel the Broncos were that much better than any of the teams they play. I just know that they are. But at the end of the day, any given Sunday, when you have your quarterback fumbling away drives, you've got your kick returner fumbling away drives.
When your defense gets you a turnover and it's 1st and goal from the 8 and you settle for a field goal on your first possession,
it's so sad.
Can't do it.
Can't do it.
It's I don't know. I mean, like,
can't work with him. Can't do it.
But I don't know. We're stuck with Peyton no matter what for at least one more year.
Oh, Sean Payton? Well, yeah. And I'm fine with that. I don't think he really had
I don't think he really tried. I don't think he really tried either.
I think he tried. I think there's only so much you can do because Russell Wilson can't do so many things. There's only so much you can really do because you saw earlier in the year they tried to have the passing offense and he could not throw intermediate passes, and he very rarely, if ever, threw over the middle. He was just so obsessed with that deep ball And then finally we started to get those checkdowns and those more efficient throws, and that added to his numbers and playing well. And then the deep ball to Cortland Sutton started happening, and those touchdowns, and it was okay. We're building something here, but you're still so limited by what you can do. Russell in a pocket, especially in a shotgun pocket, was just always bad, and you can't really get away from that. Like, you can try to improve the offensive line, but he still was getting inundated with sacks, and a lot of that too was him holding the ball too long. But it's just it was never going to work. I feel like he's kind of like James Harden in the sense where Russell Wilson is the system, and you have to build it around what he does. And at this point in his career, he's so much less mobile. And I think last year really hurt his confidence and kind of just made him less focused, more just all over the place. I feel like he was swimming a lot last year, and this year less so for sure. But I don't think Sean Payton really had enough time to instill the offense that he wanted to instill, his thing. And I think he's the kind of coach that can tailor his offense to the players that he has, for sure. But you can't change everything you do that much to be like a Russell Wilson-esque. And it almost worked for a while, but sadly, I'd like to go back and look at the games that the Broncos won without getting 3 turnovers. Because I don't know if there were any.
And
it's if those things happen, that'll be great. And you get win streaks. And it was the best Bronco game I've gone to in years. Was going to that Chiefs game. Oh my God. That was wonderful. But I think next year is going to be the real barometer. These next couple of weeks will be interesting for sure. But it's really just going to depend on what Jarrett Stidham can do. And if he's just a backup, then that still isn't going to be a great indicator of what Sean Payton's offense can look like. But this offseason is going to be fascinating. And this is why Colin and I were so excited to talk about the offseason earlier in the year, because it is going to be fascinating the way they do it. The way they're going to have to build cheaper. It sucks seeing Kareem Jackson go, but at the end of the day, they weren't going to be able to bring him back because they had to pay him millions, and they could pay a rookie or an undrafted guy thousands. So just in terms of, the potential dead cap money of $39 million that Russell Wilson is going to create next year if they just flat out cut him.
And that's the other question too, is do they risk all that cap money to cut him? Because
because you pay him more otherwise. And he's still not the starter ever. You have to build the offense. It's kind of like having Tim Tebow as a backup. It's not going to work. You have to have he needs to be out there because he's a gamer at the end of the day.
And it's kind of what it's down too, is Tebow 2.0.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, he's a much better passer than Tebow was. And way less athletic. But Tebow was a monster.
The fan love and the defense that he gets for a lot of his play is very Tebow-esque.
Sure. Yeah, to a less extent, but yeah, I can see that.
And he's always positive. He's always you never hear him call anybody out. Everything is always positive. We got to do this. We got to do this. Blah blah blah. And I mean, I applaud him for it, but at some point, let's strip the paint off and call his clunker what it is.
Yeah, so, let's just be real here. It felt so fake.
Yeah. Even Peyton to an extent too. You guys know how much he drives me nuts, and how he has this stoic face where he goes out in front of the media and just tries to Belichick it all, and it's frustrating because you wanted to go to LA. You want to pull that stuff in an LA market, go to New York and let me know how that works out for you.
He's gonna get but honestly, I feel like Sean Payton is that guy that he wouldn't care. Even plays like that, they would just be tearing him apart, and he would just grow to hate the media, and he would just get extremely frustrated and jaded, and he'd get worse. I think he would answer questions less, which is hard to imagine.
Yeah, right. Hey, Sean, we're gonna go get some sushi and meet with the media. You want to come with us?
Yeah, no, he has to. He'd be there, just Marshawn Lynch. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah.
But that's how it's going to be. He's always kind of been that way. He wants to keep things close to the vest. He doesn't want to, give stuff away to the media.
I get it to a point, but you still got to feed the fish once in a while too.
For sure, I agree. He just doesn't care. I don't think he sees that as part of his job. He just wants to coach football and not deal with all that, and he has to deal with that. And I think it's kind of funny to see how irritated he gets with small things like that. But I mean, he showed he can coach a good football team, and he can get Vance Joseph to get the defense running better. He can get the offense working functionally sometimes, which is more you can say for the offense last year. And that's more than you can say for the offense in the first 5-6 weeks. Because, oh, man, it looked different than last year's, more competent but more reserved. And just like the things that we're trying were not working. And all of a sudden, trial by error got us, 5 losses. But, yeah, next year's going to be fun to watch. That's going to be where we really get to see Sean Payton shape the offense, have a couple draft classes worth of guys to kind of keep around. They've got that young pass rushing core, so they're not going to have to go out and pay a bunch of money for pass rushers, which is necessary because they won't have money for pass rushers.
Yeah.
So I'm excited, man. I'm looking at some of these lower in the draft class. What's his name from Michigan, and then Penix and Bo Nix, probably in the second round is what it's looking like, trending to be right now. Or you do what the Ravens did and you trade up for the last pick in the first round and, take your –
I would not mind Bo Nix. I mean, especially I think he's a little underrated because everybody's on that Caleb train right now. And, the other kid that just won the Heisman this year.
LSU, Daniels.
Yes, thank you. I think everybody's so all over their nuts that they're losing perspective. And yeah, Nix is older, but who cares? That means he's a little easier to mold at that point. He's aged a little bit more in wisdom. He knows how to take criticism.
Sure, to an extent. I mean, that works both ways, where I feel like it just depends on the person. I don't think the age is that big of a factor because you could also be older and set in your ways and decide, fuck it. My coach in college taught me all this, and this is the way to do it. This is how we won, and I'm not going to change what I do for anybody. And you can also have that in a young kid who doesn't know any better and thinks he knows, and he doesn't. So sometimes the younger kids can be a little bit more malleable because they just don't know one way or the other. So I feel like it really just depends on him as a person, how receptive he'll be to coaching. Because of course he's going to say that he's going to be receptive to any kind of coaching, and then he can do whatever. But at the end of the day, if he's like Russell Wilson and he just keeps doing what he does regardless, and I'd have to look into some more of his stuff. I know he's a pretty athletic dude. I'm not sure how accurate or how good his footwork is, because sometimes those guys are just really athletic and they get by with a lot of that. And the NFL comes and it's just not the same. And sometimes they figure it out and sometimes they don't. And those later guys, you kind of got to be more concerned about because there's more red flags.
Speaking of personalities, I meant to ask you this earlier and it got away from me. Do you think Sean Payton doesn't like Jerry Jeudy?
I don't know about doesn't like. I don't think he trusts him that much because Jeudy definitely has shown levels of unprofessionalism, and I'm sure even more behind the scenes because we've just seen that from Jeudy so much for so long. His talent usually outweighed a lot of that. He still ran tight routes, and he still, when he didn't have the drops his rookie year, caught the ball consistently, not with ridiculous hands or anything like that, but he could catch a football.
But when your number one goes out with a concussion, that's where Jeudy should be stepping up, not looking for Marvin Mims. No offense to Marvin Mims or little Jordan Humphrey.
Yeah,
those guys shouldn't be the guys you're looking for at that point.
No, and they threw more passes to Jeudy. Jeudy had that big catch over the middle. He had more catches for sure. But at that point, like if that's your number one guy, like that's not a good sign. You know, when you've got Jack Palance going, you're my number one guy. And if you haven't seen Batman '89, then I apologize, folks at home. But
Well, Michael Keaton, not the Flash and Michael Keaton, just Michael Keaton.
we don't talk about that. That's we don't talk about the Flash here.
I don't know. I did enjoy all the Batman stuff in it.
Yeah, that 20 minutes was great.
40.
Sure. They stretched it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of how I feel. The Broncos feel like the Flash. Whereas the Sean Payton Saints were the Batman '89. And we'll get there. But because even last year when Sutton was still kind of hobbled from that ACL injury, Judy stepped up and had those big games, and he was balling out and doing his thing to an extent. But that's also because there's nobody else to throw to, and Russ could just bomb it deep. But that didn't work anymore. He tried a deep bomb to Mims, and he was interfered on, but whatever. At the end of the day, you can't just blame the refs for every little thing.
No.
Way more things the Broncos did in that game.
I mean, you could sound like a Muppet yelling at a grown man, because of
offsides. Yeah, but also do your job. That was pass interference in field goal range. That literally keeps the game in overtime and gives the Broncos a chance. So there's too many times where the refs do that and affect the game negatively because they just weren't paying attention, which is their one job.
Yeah,
is to pay attention.
I
know people argue that the NBA refs are some of the worst. I think they're the most opinionated, but NFL refs I think might be the worst. It's just so bad, and they have so much less time to fuck it up, and they still fuck it up just as much. And then I think the kicker is when pass interference became reviewable, and they just refused to allow it, and just rejected every single one of those challenges without really even looking, because there wasn't a single one that got overturned. And you can't tell me with a straight face that every single one of those calls was wrong. No.
Yeah.
There's not a single challengeable play where in an entire season, every challenge gets, rescinded or, because it won't be. Sometimes it's the call on the play stands was over. I guess none of them were overturned because they were always challenging it. There can't. I guarantee there's not a single other play out there. But that's just it's.
Well, and I mean,
it's infuriating, and it's never going to go away. So you have to beat the refs also.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it growing up, and you do have to have thick skin, but at the same time, it's if you're focused on the game, it shouldn't be that hard. And I mean, I think the most I ever worked was 3 officials.
Yeah.
You still have to have a way of communicating with each other. And I mean, if you're that good, each other that well, you can do everything with hand signals. Yeah.
And the NFL refs are not that good and have almost never been that good to actually be able to get these calls correct. And it feels like there's a stubbornness. They've never been wrong in their lives. And it's at least NBA refs will do makeup calls because they realize they fucked up.
Yeah.
But it's sadly, it's just never going to go away. And it's not fun to talk about. There's plenty of other things the Broncos could have done to overcome the refs sucking at their jobs again. But at the end of the day, they couldn't do it. And it's just now we're on here. One game does all that, and Russell gets benched, which is smart because you can't let him get hurt and have to pay him $75 million next year.
You want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
Who called the game on Sunday? Who was the main play-by-play guy?
I don't remember.
It was Dan Patrick. So you ready for something really funny?
Dan Patrick.
Last year on Christmas Eve, Christmas Eve, he did the Raiders game 2 weeks before the season ended. And after that game, Derek Carr was benched for who?
My guy, good old Stidham.
Yep.
I didn't know Dan Patrick called games.
Yeah.
I thought he just did his podcast and stuff.
No, he still once in a while will call games.
That's crazy. I didn't know.
So guess who did Sunday's game?
Because I was watching the game. I don't remember it being Dan Patrick. Who was his color guy?
Crap, I can't remember now.
I'm gonna Google it. Broncos Patriots broadcast.
Yeah, so Kurt Warner. Oh no, Rich Eisen. I'm sorry, Rich Eisen.
I was gonna say I remember Rich Eisen and Kurt Warner doing the game. I wasn't sure. I don't remember Dan Patrick doing a game like ever. I know Rich Eisen does it.
Yeah, my bad.
NFL Network.
I got my old Sports Center crews.
You went for the ESPN guy, not the NFL Network guy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Rich was at ESPN like way back in the day, but Dan Patrick stayed at ESPN.
Yeah. Yeah. Rich Eisen.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Rich Eisen even made a Pat Bowlen reference. He was talking about the NFL brand and how much it's grown in the NFL Network because his boss was Pat Bowlen forever. So he was like, it's for the brand, Pat. This one's for you. You know, he made a quick little Pat Bowlen reference in the game. I thought that was really cool. Yeah, I thought it was Rich Eisen. I didn't want to just blatantly contradict you, but
no, I'm glad you did because I would have sounded like a dumbass. But yeah, so Rich Eisen calls the game Sunday, and 2 days later, Russell Wilson's benched for Jarrett Stidham.
There he is, Jarrett, not Jared, Jarrett.
I'm sorry, Jarrett Stidham.
Yeah, it's just it could only be Jarrett.
And so one more real quick, K-Jack found a new home. Well, an old home. That's a new home.
New old home.
Good
for him. He deserves it.
Maybe his house is still available because he just wound up getting picked up by the Texans, which I figured somebody was going to pick him up. Somebody's going to need a safety.
I hoped so. I figured that some teams might be worried about losing him for extended period of time in the playoffs or something. But I'm glad that he goes to a playoff contender because now he has a chance to play in the playoffs, which he never had a chance to do here.
I don't know. Maybe.
No. The time that he was here, no chance.
Yeah, okay, good point.
Yeah, 2016 was the last time that we had a chance. We still had TJ Ward. Or maybe it was Darian Stewart. Either way, I just know he was both. I think we still had both those guys for 2016, and then Justin Simmons took over. Either way, by the time Kareem Jackson got here, we didn't have a chance. It was Drew Lock, Teddy Bridgewater, Case Keenum, Joe Flacco.
So I don't know if you heard this. I was listening to Tyler Columbus yesterday.
Okay.
And he was talking about how there's been, there's obviously a fracture between the offense and the defense right now.
Especially with the Broncos.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about, is for the Broncos. And so he was saying, actually, that's been going on since Super Bowl 50.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Especially because the Broncos have that more than the team.
Yeah, quietly because Peyton was able to keep that in check. But, the second Manning left is when basically the earth erupted.
Oh, yeah. We saw that a whole bunch. Like, who was the left tackle that tried to address the team and Aqib Talib shut him down? It was the guy from Seattle that negotiated his own contract. I don't know what his name was. But yeah, no, that's always been a thing. It's only really been talked about much with the Broncos. They've always had that because their defenses have been better than the offense every year, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Almost never do the Broncos have a functional quality offense that was better than the defense that could actually, win games. The offense would be okay at times. I remember, Trevor still got Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders both 1,000 yards receiving, I want to say. But it didn't feel like they were actually doing anything.
No.
It's just, that rift. And I think it rematerializes every year. It takes a while. Some years the defense isn't as good, and then with Vic Fangio, it was much better. Last year, everybody sucked. So, that's right. Andrew Evero, the defense was very good. So, every year the defense is better, and the offense is just fucking up. And maybe that'll change next year. But you bring in a rookie, it's gonna be more growing pains. It's going to be more guys on the defense tired of the offense fucking it up for them. every year of Justin Simmons' career, the defense has been better than the offense.
I don't know. Maybe the Broncos will pick up Derek Carr after he gets released by the Saints. It seems to be him anyway.
I would love that. I love Derek Carr anyway. Like
I think that dude's underrated, and he's been fighting an uphill battle since he came into the league. But
yeah, but the money is also a big concern too. Is he's been a top tier guy, so he might command more money than the Broncos can really afford. Like they kind of have to go the rookie draft route.
Oh yeah,
and then pick up somebody cheap to play backup if they don't just retain Jarrett Stidham. Like I've been saying,
your other homie's starting up in
Set or Taylor Heineke or my favorite Gardner Minshew. But like that's I think going to have to be the way to go, because if they do that and they spend more money on a free agent like Carr or Cousins, maybe Tannehill, one of those veteran guys, just because of the QB market in general, they're going to command more and more money. Like Case Keenum got like $18 million a year, and we were all pissed off about that. I don't want to pay any of those guys $18 million a year.
I mean, Flacco's working out for now.
Well, yeah, but the Flacco makes like $2 million.
And then who's your homie up in New York?
Tyrod Taylor. I would love to bring in Tyrod Taylor as a bridge guy for your rookie. But that's what you're looking at. I think has to be the best way to go, because if you pay money for Carr or Cousins or whatever, somebody else gets released, maybe, who knows? Like that's hamstringing the team even more. That's one less receiver that you can bring in. That's one less corner opposite Pat Surtain. That's one less linebacker, so you don't have to start Drew Sanders. Like I think that's just going to be that big of a deal. Like that kind of money. Brandon McManus money was too much this year. They had to let him go. And he's actually struggled a lot recently, so that's looked better the past couple of weeks, because early on it was like, why did we do that?
Yeah.
But
Trevor Siemian might still be out there again after he leaves the Jets.
Yeah.
We try that one again.
There you go. What could possibly go wrong? He won a game with a great defense and really talented players. He did that here too.
Good. He's been
good. Good. We have a really good defense, good running game, good receivers. Trevor can make the playoffs. Breece Hall's about as good as C.J. Anderson was. No, he's probably better. But yeah, man, it's going to be fun to watch. I'm excited, but sadly now, because of the Russ thing, they can't afford to go after guys like Derek Carr that we would have been excited to get last year, or whoever your guy is that you've watched play somewhere that you think, man, that guy could either be a starter or, he's a better starter than those guys give him credit for. With Carr.
Insert washed up name here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Insert old, probably white guy here. There's Brissett. There's Jacoby Brissett.
There's always Jacoby.
There's always Jacoby. Honestly, dude, he played so well for the Browns last year. I'm surprised that nobody picked him up as a bridge guy.
I was too, actually. I thought that
Washington picked him up and they just sat him for. I mean, Sam Howell has played well for sure, and you got to have that safety net. But it feels like they're just wasting my guy Jacoby.
Real quick, what was your bad lose game? How did that go?
Oh, it was fantastic. That's what happens when we choose the games beforehand. We don't actually know what's bad. Jets Commanders was a phenomenal game. I think we should wait to go over it when Colin's here for sure.
Yeah, because I didn't play the intro either.
Yeah, no, you're fine. We'll go over more of it, but
he's got all the
quick teaser. Two of the worst teams in the NFL had a fucking barn burner. Like you figured it would be more of a touch and go with the Jets defense. And Joe Simeon just kind of managing the game, and then the Red Commanders, their strength is their offense and just high flying, super fast. They don't name a player on their defense. Go ahead, I'll wait. They traded away the team. Huh?
There's that cornerback guy. Yeah, he's this cornerback. Yeah, he's got the jersey.
Mm-hmm.
He wears the helmet, has the face mask on it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
He wears the mouthpiece.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Yeah, that guy. Sometimes he's got it all sideways like Steph. But yeah, like that game was actually really fun. And terrifying for me because I picked up the Washington defense against the Jets because they played the Jets. My opponent had the Jets defense against Washington. It was awesome. So that's going to be part of how I go over it because I had
that's
a ridiculous day of fantasy. I was winning by 0.3 going into Monday Night Football. I was down 0.3 going into Monday Night Football. My opponent was done. All I had was Brock fucking Purdy. That's all I need to say.
Woo, I pull out a dub.
But yeah, so we're gonna go over a lot of that for the lose bad here in a couple of days when Colin's feeling a little better, and we'll kind of just have to do lose bad and victory formation, and maybe just ignore the Avalanche.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the team we're not going to ignore real quick is the
Denver Nuggets.
Because I don't know if anybody you don't put your face in a dog's face.
Listen, it's your dog.
Yeah, even then they don't know that. Yeah, you should probably not put anything that a dog can bite around a dog, especially when you just won a basketball game and then you have to go have stitches.
That's how it goes. And it wasn't like his dog. It said family dog. So it's a dog that he didn't know super well. And it sucks to see, but
he's a big man too. So like, that's going to play into a dog's mentality too, because he's so tall.
He's huge.
That he's like a giant.
Which also goes to show, like, you're right. He definitely had to get down there in the dog's face because the dog couldn't have reached his face otherwise.
No.
Unless he was like coming up the stairs and the dog's at the top maybe or something. But yeah, it sucks to see. Hopefully he can still be able to because it's his right hand. That's his dunking hand. Yeah. It's Aaron Gordon. It's not a shooting hand. It's a
good point. It's his Gordon takes hand.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll take less shots because of this. That could be a plus. Like I almost said plausitive. That could be a plus or a positive, whatever you want to call it. It's plausible too. But it does also kind of force the Nuggets to find that backup big that they don't have.
Yeah, that they
now
have.
Someone has to get quality minutes. And it's probably going to be Zeke Naji
Zeke
right away. But like Strother's tall. This is where the loss of Jeff Green really hurts the Nuggets. Because if they had a guy like that, you might see a trade for Jeff Green. But like Houston's actually pretty good, so they might not want to get rid of one of their better rotational leader guys. But you might see something happen to where the Nuggets need to bring in a rotational kind of bench forward that can come and play that role. I don't know if there's any like former Nuggets around. Like I know PJ Dozier was more of a 3 than a 4, but still, like that might be a guy you could bring back. Somebody that Malone would have familiarity with. Like sadly, the forwards have all kind of like, we don't want JaMychal Green back. I'm pretty sure Paul Millsap is out of the league. Actually, you know what? Just for the hell of it, let's sign Paul Millsap. Yeah. Let's do it for a couple of weeks. We're going to put like a DJ at the 4 and just play Jokic and DJ together because that sounds kind of funny, but not a good idea.
Yeah, no, let's not do that.
It kind of forces the issue, which may be a good thing because it's early enough in the season to where they can overcome that and really get that rotation finalized. But man, if this takes any longer to figure out or it causes more problems, this could end up being that thing that makes the Nuggets more of a next year team than this year team. And I think right now it's fine. They can handle it. We get more Zeke Naji minutes. Maybe he just figures it out and that's the solution. That'd be sick. But yeah, man, I'm a little concerned, but earlier in the year, I kind of like watching more bench guys anyway, because they don't get a lot of playing time and it's fun to watch.
Well, and it adds it adds a little bit more too, because like you said, they don't get a lot of later in the season. They start to lose their playing time, and at least this way, you can figure out what chemistry works. You're kind of forcing your hand at that point to figure out what chemistry works to get them in there, because if something does happen,
the dog bite forced their hand.
What's that?
The dog bite on the hand forced their hand.
Yeah. Somebody definitely didn't bite the hand that feeds.
Ooh, some Trent Reznor.
Yeah. 21 stitches, though, is what it took, I guess.
21.
So, 21 stitches, that's
It's pretty much.
probably going to be, 2 weeks maybe, but then you got to worry about nerve damage.
Oh, yeah, they'll take time.
Anything else like that, so.
And he's such a physical, brutal kind of player. They'll want to take a little bit more time to make sure it's all good. Like, Jamal Murray can kind of work himself back in, playing more of a finesse role, taking shots and that kind of thing. Aaron Gordon needs to go out there and hit people and dunk and be that enforcer type guy, so Jokic doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the thing they miss the most with Aaron Gordon is that kind of enforcer type guy, the goon, if you will. Huh?
He's kind of a deflector, deflects away from Joker.
Yeah, for sure.
So
shot blocker guy. Yeah, think Rick Mahorn. Think Kmart back in the day when he was healthy. But yeah, man, that's what concerns me. But I'm not like super concerned. I'm more just curious and kind of excited to see. And then if it's bad, I will be very concerned very quickly. We're just kind of on the needle's edge, right? Or the razor's edge. The needle's edge. On the razor's edge now. And it should be fine. But like, oh man, we could topple.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess it'll depend on how long this actual recovery will take because, we don't know where it is on the hand. We just know it's on the hand, in the face. But,
yeah,
I don't think he cares too much about his face right now. I'm more worried about the moneymaker. And, I mean, just.
Yeah, he's like the hand model in Zoolander. He'll have the glass dome around it.
He's gonna be like the Phantom of the Opera now. He's gonna have a mask on one half of his face.
Yes, mask on half his face and bubble hand. This sounds like an anime character, and I love it.
Oh man, I don't know, dude. It doesn't seem like something that should bother the Nuggets the way they're playing, but this team is so connected that I think it'll have a little residual effect on the team because, they're going to have that first game of adjusting without AG.
And that'll be tomorrow.
Yep.
Against, I don't remember who it was. I want to say it's Brooklyn. No, it's Memphis because Brooklyn was recent. It's Memphis tomorrow. So we'll get to see. That's going to be scary. Jaren Jackson Jr. is a very good big man. He played the 4 for them when Steven Adams was healthy. Adams is out this whole season again, so Jaren Jackson's playing the 5. But that's going to be a big test. If Zeke Naji or whoever gets started, it's probably Zeke, or somebody can kind of have success against, Defensive Player of the Year, member of Team USA, even though they didn't win. He was chosen for a reason. Like, this guy's good. So that's going to be the test. That's the matchup to watch for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's time to step up now and show you got your big boy pants because you've been living in that second realm for so long. And people have been trying to get his name out there, give him his chance. Well, guess what? Now it's chance.
Yep. And Gordon going down also increases the chances of Jokic continuing his streak of never playing with another All-Star.
Right? Oh, man.
And Jamal probably makes it, even though he missed time.
I don't know if he will because he missed time.
Yeah, but I think he still does. We'll see how it goes because they're still doing East-West, I think, right? Or is it just going to be the top guy? I think the All-Star game is such bullshit.
I don't know. They keep screwing it up every year.
Changing all the time. Yeah. We'll figure it out next.
It depends on what LeBron wants.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah, whatever LeBron wants. Do you want to do East-West this year, or do you want to pick teams again?
Yeah.
And embarrass yourself on national TV because you can't pronounce the MVP's name correctly. Sorry, was that my outside voice?
It's fine. We're good.
Okay. Oh yeah, the guy sitting over there, the white guy. Yeah, the last one you're picking. Yeah, he's the MVP.
Yeah, I'll take Jokic. Thank you.
Yeah. Nicholas? There's no S in there, guy. You're the ass.
My guy Nick.
Oh, man.
All right.
Well, this
Well, I think I better go get to my family dinner here.
Yeah, this went fast without the victory formation and Colin dragging us along.
Yeah, just dragging us down.
Yeah, Colin, Jesus.
That fucking guy.
Well, sorry it was a quick one, guys. We have other stuff that we can't do because Colin's got it all, but we thank you for tuning in anyway. And sorry, I'm still not used to running this part of the show yet. But we thank you guys for joining us. Hopefully you had a Merry Christmas. We're just going to do a little night driving while I finish thanking everybody over at e5280sports.com for having us.
Absolutely.
And make sure you check out all their other shows as well that are as good, if not better than us.
Absolutely. I mean, we're pretty good, but
yeah, we're pretty
bad. I just want to thank my guy Clayton, who's in pretty much every stream at this point. It didn't notify me that you were commenting, so I apologize. We didn't respond to any of it, but I had a great Christmas, and you coming onto our streams makes it better.
Yes, thanks, Clayton, for listening. Everybody else that's tuned in tonight. We've got a couple likes on Facebook, got a pair of eyeballs watching us right now. But yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. And we will let you know when we're going live again. For Joe Goodwin, I'm Nick Archuleta. This has been the Undrafted Uncensored. Have a great night, guys.
Go Broncos?
Maybe.
Next year.